Well, hello everyone. Hope you all are doing well out there in YouTube land, wherever you might find yourself this afternoon. Today I am back with another installment of creative writing with yours truly, Mr. Zach. I am drawing some inspiration today from Mr. Richard Cross and a class that he used to teach at 7th Street. That was a class called Words. And I really like the way that Richard structured this class by just offering a free write, which means that you get to write anything that you want for a specific amount of time, and then his prompts for his writing are all just one word. So I thought about that a little bit, and I decided to put my own little twist on it, and wanted to share that with y'all today. So today we are going to do 3 writing prompts. So the only thing that you would need in order to handle this at home is any sort of writing implement. I used a mechanical pencil because I really like to have a very fine point when I am writing, and I also very much appreciate an eraser. But I also really like writing with pen as well. There's something kind of very natural about writing with pen, and if you mess up, you just mess up, and you can scribble it out, or you can rewrite it again, or whatever. Also, I think writing with marker is kind of fun, just because your handwriting tends to be a little bit larger, and sort of penning out the letters can be really fun. So, plenty of options there for you all. Who would like to do some writing with me today or whenever this video finds you. So today, like I explained last time, I'll just do a little bit of review for a moment, that normally in any of our writing classes, we offer you guys a suggestion on something to get started with, and then we give you time to write whatever you're going to write that day. And then we all share and talk about what we have written. And since that isn't quite as easy to do in this format, what I am doing is I'm coming up with the sort of class schedule or structure for the day, and then I'm writing myself. I'm taking the class with you guys before I hop on these videos. And so I have written out. I've sort of like done a rough draft of taking the class myself this morning, and I picked a really nice spot out in the sun in my backyard to do some writing, and I am pretty pleased with what I came up with. And I decided to use Richard's template of using only one word for each one of my pieces of writing, but I decided to do them in different styles, you guys. So the first writing prompt that I did, I call a single line, where I just do one line across my paper, and then I stop that thought or whatever, and then I skip down to the next line, and it's kind of like starting all over. And then I just write one line's worth of ideas about that word, and then I stop, and then I go to that next line, and it's like starting all over again. So I did a single line sort of style approach to this first writing prompt. Feel free to use that if you'd like to, if that helps for you. Maybe after you hear mine, you'll get some ideas about how to do that exactly. Or feel free to do whatever you guys want to do. If you want to just write for a couple of minutes on this topic on your own, feel free. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Okay? So my first word that I would like to share with you guys, that I would like each of you to write about for 3 to 5 minutes. Okay? 3 to 5. Anywhere in there. I'm going to try to step up our amount of time that we spend writing. Okay, I took about the full 5 minutes to write all of my single lines. And the one word that I would like you to use as sort of your springboard or something to get you started is the word open. Open. Okay, so OPEN is how it's spelled. Open. I'm sure plenty of you have an idea already. That is a very common word that many of us hear all of the time. And I thought it would be a particularly interesting word to write about this morning. It was just one of the first words that came to my mind. And so I'm going to share with you my about 5 minutes it turned into, but it's a 3 to 5 minute writing span of time. So if you're watching at home after the fact and this isn't live, feel free to pause the video right here and look at your clock and take 3 to 5 minutes and write out your own thing if you want to right now. Or feel free to listen to my writing example and use that as a springboard or use it to jump off of, or maybe it'll kickstart some ideas for you. Okay, so this is on the word open, OPEN. It is a 3 to 5 minute, and I decided to do this in single line format. Oh, cool. I see one of our wonderfulest writers out there, Miss Robin. So good to see you, Robin. I'm going to share a writing piece that I did this morning on the single word open, OPEN, for 3 to 5 minutes. And I tried to write it in a format where each line was kind of its own thought. And then I started over on the next line and then just wrote a line. Okay, so here we go. Without further ado, I will read for you my first writing example on the word open. I need to remain open. Open sesame. It's time to open. An open window is not an invitation. It takes a lot of torque to open it. If they are open, we might enjoy going. Would you see if they're open? Open it, would ya? Open or closed? It looks like they're about to open. Who's opening? I hope it opens to huge crowds. When it opens, would you like to go? How about this? Open it! Which kind of open do you mean? It's open! If we open the doorway, it could come in. If we don't open it, how's it going to get out? Roll call! Who's open for business? Open your heart. It didn't look open to me. What are your hours? When do you open? And finally, my last line is, if a store opens and no one visits it, was it ever really open at all? Okay, you guys. So the first writing prompt, just to repeat myself many, many times for all of you following along at home, is a 3 to 5 minute writing span of time on the word open. And I recommend it, if you want to try it this way, to just do single lines. Okay, so write out one line, and then when you go down to that next line, start all over with a fresh, whole new thought. Okay, and while I was reading mine, I kind of realized that mine kind of veered towards dialogue. A lot of my lines sounded like things that people might say in everyday life. So there's another way to think about it. If you want to think about single lines of dialogue that you might hear someone say, that might be an interesting way to approach it. Okay. Or if you really just like one of the lines that I happen to share today, and you want to continue writing about the word open based on any one of these lines, feel free, you guys. The choice is yours. Okay, so moving right along, I'm going to move on to our second writing prompt today. And this one is on the word call. C-A-L-L. Call is our second word. And this writing prompt, I took even a little bit more time, you guys, and I wrote for a time span of 5 to 10 minutes. Ooh, could be fun. Could be very fun. So I think I wrote for about 7 or so minutes on this one, and I decided to write in a different style. So this style I chose for this word was poems. I love poems. I love poetry. I love your guys' poetry. I miss sharing poetry together. And so I decided to write, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short poems, just a couple of lines each poem. One of them is 4 lines, another one's 3, one of them's 2, 2 of them are 2, and another one's 4 again. So yeah, all different number of lines in my poems. And I didn't really try to emulate any particular style of poetry. I just kind of was letting the flow happen. Poetry is all about getting into a groove and sharing a couple of really, really concentrated thoughts together in a small amount of time, to me. This second writing prompt is on the word call. C-A-L-L. Lots of different uses for the word call. There's, like a telephone call, to call someone's name. There are all sorts of animal calls. I'll just throw those out there for you guys to get your minds working. So if you're watching this video after the fact and this isn't live, feel free to just pause the video right here. And if you want to take 5 to 10 minutes to write any poems about the word call, feel free to do that. But if you're doing this live, just go ahead and write down the prompt. And after I share, you can take some time on your own, or after this video is over, feel free to take some time and do some writing on your own, you guys. It's really, really nice way to occupy your time and just keep your wheels turning in your brain up there, okay? So our next writing piece, I did a series of poems. So that was the style of writing that I selected, but you don't have to do poems if you're not interested in poems today, or you're not feeling like it. Feel free to do what's called a free write, where you just write whatever you want for 5 to 10 minutes about the word call, or what that, you can use that word. You don't have to use that word. There's lots of options for you guys, okay? All right, here we go. I'm going to share you my 5 to 10 minute writing prompt on the word call in the style of some short poems. Here's the first one. A bird used its call, another treated my ears to its echo. Still more to be heard, sounds and echoes. All right, here's our next one. When a mother calls and no child answers, gravity forgets to pull. Air pretends to blow. The tide turns still, and the light can almost cease to be. All right, our next one. You make the call, and then what? Decisions. All right, the next one. I always get the urge to call my dearest friends when it's far too late. What if I just did it anyway? And the last poem that I wrote is, call it even if you want, but I know the truth. Kind of a short one. Anyway, those are my examples of a few short pieces of poetry based on the word call. and I took between 5 and 10 minutes is a plenty enough time. Feel free to write one. Wait a moment, until you get that next idea. And one thing I try to do that I'm going to share with all of you out there is I try the moment that my pen or my pencil or my marker hits the page to start writing that first line. When I'm writing poetry, I try not to stop. I try to just let the thought come all the way out as quickly as I can write it down, and then worry about rewriting it a little bit better later if you want to. But honestly, I think truth and honesty come out when you're not thinking about it too much. So I offer that to you if that's something that you think you might enjoy. All right. Okay, moving on, you guys. We are on to our third writing prompt. Okay, so for the final writing prompt of the day, I have selected the amount of time as the same as the last one, 5 to 10 minutes. If you can write for a whole 10 minutes, you guys, man, you're doing good. I dig it. I was probably a little bit shorter than 10 minutes in writing this one, but not much. And I decided to write in a different style again. I selected the short story as my writing style for this one-word prompt. And I was struggling, you guys, to come up with a third word just off the top of my head while I was trying to think up these things. And my legs were crossed, and I was just looking off into space, and I was like, what am I going to write about? What? Just, come on, universe, give me a good word to write about right now. And I looked down kind of in frustration, and right on the side of my shoe was the words all terrain. And so I thought, hey, the word terrain is a really interesting word, which is a synonym for the ground. It's the same, the word means what you walk on or anything beneath you. And it is spelled Terrain, terrain. And when I think of the word terrain, I think of like rugged terrain, like that you would find when you're hiking or something like that. Not just, everyday smooth surfaces that you might find in your local town or whatever. I think about getting off the grid a little bit and getting out into the sticks. And that's where I feel like the word terrain really describes untamed landscapes, if you will. So I was excited to write about this. I wasn't sure what my short story was going to be about. And something interesting happened with me I want to share before I share my little piece of writing, is I started writing this story, and the first 2 sentences, I think, I still didn't really know what I was going to be writing about. And so I just kept writing, and then all of a sudden, I found myself inside of a memory of mine when I was hiking with a group of friends, and we were trying to hike to the top of Mount Shasta. Anyway, I won't give away the ending. But I thought that was after the fact. I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. I didn't really even know what I was going to be writing about, even after I started writing. So, without further ado, here we go. This is my 5 to 10 minute writing prompt that I chose to do in the style of a short story on the word terrain, which is spelled Terrain. Okay, here we go. It was treacherous terrain and gave even the most seasoned veterans pause. The kind that made one check their pack for any non-essential companions hitching a ride. Do you really need 2 volumes of survival guides? It wouldn't take long to second guess every item placed behind the spine. It wouldn't take long to rethink the idea of sock liners, a concept so completely foreign no less than 72 hours ago. It wouldn't take 5 minutes to begin questioning the pre-hike fitness regimen that had not really been adhered to. It wouldn't take 30 seconds to discard the advice of all and forego sunscreen. And it would take even less time to question how things got to this point. It would take a long, long, long time to walk up this mountain. Years, in fact. All right. So there is my beginning of a short story about a sort of loosely inspired by a memory and using the word terrain as my jumping off point. And I make the same suggestion that I made in the last creative writing class to any of you following along at home. If you don't know where to start, if these single words don't, spark your little creative geniuses that you all have in your heads up here. If you don't know where to start, feel free to use any of these pieces of writing as a jumping off point for yourself. If you want to just take the first sentence that I wrote from this short story, it was treacherous terrain and gave even the most seasoned veterans pause. If you want to take that sentence and write your whole story about some journey, I don't know, on Mount Everest or wherever, feel free. If any part of what I have written sparks your inspiration, use it, take it, and just use it and run with it, okay, you guys? I really hope that you will take some time on your own, anytime in this week or the coming weeks, to sit down by yourself somewhere. I recommend a place that is calming, that makes you feel at ease, and give yourself the gift of doing a little bit of writing for yourself. It is quite lovely. I like to accompany my writing with my favorite beverage, which is coffee. And this is my favorite coffee cup, my Star Wars coffee cup. I usually only drink coffee out of this cup on the weekends, but all the days are starting to feel like they're all running together. And so I said, hey, I felt like drinking down my Star Wars cup this morning. So that's what I did. Anyway, you guys, I really, really hope that you all enjoy some of these ideas and will take my advice and do some writing for yourselves. I hope that you're all staying happy and healthy and surrounded by all those that love you. Okay, you guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more music time. And then on Friday, I will see you guys for some more theater talk. And please check out all of these other awesome videos that are going on this YouTube channel. Boy, I really, really think that there are a lot of smiles to be had if you make your way through more of these videos. So I hope that you all are, and I hope you're all well. Okay, you guys, we'll talk with you all soon. Bye.